What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's Sage, your host, and by the time you're watching this, episode 2 of Baddies West will have already aired. And in that episode, Natalie touched on StunnaG and this whole cage incident. Also, around the same time this episode aired, Tommy even went live with Rocky, who was the girl who was put in a cage, and now they have some sort of conflict going on. So I thought I might give you guys some proper information from back in 2018 when this whole incident happened, and then we will get into Tommy virtually linking up with StunnaG's quote-unquote op. Now, there are many points to the beginning of this story, but I want to make sure that I stay on track. So while I am going to give you guys all the important details and paint the picture for y'all, I want to make sure I keep this as relevant as to what's going on today. So just keep that in mind. Now, between 2015 and 2019, there was a crop of gangsta female rappers, including our main players to this story, Molly Brazy, RockyB, Cuban Doll, and StunnaG. Molly Brazy and RockyB are both from Detroit, and initially, there were a lot of comparisons between the two. We all know what usually happens in this case. The two of them began to throw little shots here and there via social media, and we all know how the fans like to get involved. Now, if you end up doing your own research, you may find some old music videos of Molly Brazy, and the title will say RockyB Diss. But please be aware that there are many uploaders who, since all this has happened, have went back to those old videos and changed the title, likely for viewership purposes, but that is incorrect. It wasn't until December 2016 that people suspected 17-year-old Molly may have been throwing shots at Rocky in a newly uploaded freestyle. Then in July of 2017, shots were officially fired when a 23-year-old Rocky put out a full diss record on a now 18-year-old Molly. In the record titled Vindictive, Rocky seemed to shed some light on where the issues between them really started. She stated that prior to Molly starting her own rap career, she was basically posting Rocky on social media, watching her and what she was doing, but when Molly started getting noticed, she was copying Rocky, and people started to feel like Molly was making a way for female rappers out of Detroit. But really the whole time, she stole her style from Rocky. So in simple terms, Rocky felt like she should be getting that recognition and not some little girl who she feels had only gotten noticed by copying her style. The beef carried on throughout the year, and at some point Molly's friend and fellow rapper Cuban Doll inserted herself into their beef, attempting to defend Molly. However, now these days Cuban seems to remember it differently, stating that Rocky is the one who came for Cuban just because she was friends with Molly and had a name for herself.
I don't even know RockyB from nowhere. She really had beef with Molly and then just threw me in it. Since we was like friends, like whatever. And then I had a name, so we just like, why not? Bitch, you would throw you in it too.
Regardless, at this point in the timeline, Cuban and Rocky formed their own beef, and in January 2018, Cuban Doll and two other rappers, Asian Doll and Honey Oso, were in the studio, shared their location, and Rocky and her friends pulled up. According to Cuban Doll, Rocky jumped her along with 3 other women, whereas this is what Rocky had to say directly following the incident.
Watch some kind of way they gonna make me the bad guy for putting my hands on this little bitch. Let me tell y'all something.
Asian Doll didn't even jump in, she stood.
Hold on, it was a one-on-one. So even if she had to jump in, one of my men was gonna jump in, play it like I'm hating on her or I'm just a nobody ass bitch. So I still played that shit cool. Bitches keep dropping songs. Bitches saying shit on the internet. Your fan base bigger than mine, my baby. So of course you win by default. When you popping off and I've been in your city and I'm coming in and and then you posting your location. I get in fights all the time. This is not no first fight. I don't have to make a diss song. I will never say anything else about this bitch. Tell that bitch.
A day or so later, on January 31st, 2018, Cuban's diss track to Rocky called Sizzle was uploaded to Fosho's YouTube channel, and less than a month later, Rocky released her response titled Ragdoll. So where does StunnaG enter the chat? After her fight with Rocky and her friends, Cuban and Molly's friendship started going downhill. There was so much back and forth between all the women involved, live streams, screenshots, interviews, appearances, and music videos, and since this beef began over 5 years ago at this point, some girls have made up, some girls have fallen out, and new plates of beef have been made. For me, it was very hard to pull receipts of the exact reason why Cuban and Molly ended their friendship at the time. But from what I could gather, it seems like Cuban was not happy with Molly's response, or lack thereof, to Cuban getting jumped, being that Cuban felt like her issues with Rocky stemmed from Molly's beef in the first place. Cuban went on to make new friends in the industry, linking up with rappers such as Cold Killer, Sukiana, and StunnaG. Meanwhile, tensions continue to get high between Cuban and Rocky as they continue to throw shots at each other, and Rocky went live on social media early summer 2018 to poke fun at Cuban's domestic violence occurrence that she had with Chicago rapper Tato.
Talking about my hip is broke. Bitch, you sitting down in the fucking hospital. Your hip ain't broke, bitch. Shut up. Shut up. You talking about I'm broke, bitch. No, you're the broken one. You the one that's broke. He broke your ass for sure. Literally. Make yourself that mad while you got a black eye, because that will kind of like make your head hurt. You feel me? Like, don't do that. You don't want to piss yourself off. You get fucked on by 2 different and getting your ass beat. Come on now. Like, that sucks. You dead. You look dead. Surprised you ain't dead. The fuck, throw them punches to the motherfucking face. You better go take a perk. I know your head hurt. Your problem is not with me. Talking about domestic violence ain't no joke. Gotta be a motherfucking joke if you keep running the back. I'm not feeling sorry for no bitch. You.
Cuban felt as if she needed to get back at Rocky for allegedly jumping her at the studio, talking about her being abused by Tato, on top of a mountain of other shots that had been thrown, and that's where we get to the topic at hand. Due to the nature of this incident, I will absolutely have to give a disclaimer. This story may be disturbing to some viewers, and at this point, you have been formally warned to watch at your own discretion. Now, no violence or anything will be shown in this video, nor any gruesome images, but just the telling of this story has shocked a lot of people. Also, the telling of these events are alleged, and I would advise you to take even the recount of the story from those who were involved with a grain of salt. Use your discernment, okay? It was alleged that in October 2018, Cuban Dog conspired with StunnaG to set up Rocky Bad for revenge. Apparently, Rocky was booked for a show in Los Angeles, but the booking turned out to be fake and was allegedly set up by Cuban Dog and StunnaG. When Rocky and her manager arrived, they were led down an alley and ended up being forced and locked into a building. This is where they were allegedly met by a group of men carrying weapons, Cuban and StunnaG. Rocky says that when she saw who was there, she expected that she would just end up getting jumped by Cuban and StunnaG, but she surely didn't expect it to go the route that it did. Though Cuban and Rocky did fight, the men who were present got involved and began to beat both Rocky and her manager. The men pistol whipped Rocky into a cage, and Cuban allegedly snatched Rocky's chain from her, though Rocky ended up saying that it broke and fell to the ground, and that's what led to Cuban just picking it up. Someone took a photo of Rocky in the cage and posted it to social media. Though some people say that Rocky was in the cage for days, this incident seemed to have happened all in the same accord. How long Rocky actually stayed in the cage is unknown, but it seems to have been for the purpose of just taking the picture for humiliation. Perhaps the most disturbing part of this incident is that Rocky's stomach was cut open from under the bust down to the belly button. The public was made aware of Rocky's injuries only after she posted her wounds that had been tended to in the hospital with this caption: "They tried to me. I got to walk away with this and a few little scars. I fought for my life. Y'all can keep that weak ass chain. I was expecting to be jumped by 2 bitches, but everybody don't play the way they make it seem. I got in that cage because after too many guns got pointed in my face, what can you do? But believe the shit y'all want. Everybody in that building they locked me in, no. And truthfully, I only slowed up because the more I fought back, the more ho shit they did to me. Y'all couldn't F with me one-on-one or together, so I learned from it. I'm sick my stomach look like this though. I ain't gonna lie, y'all definitely up one on me right now." In the caption, she doesn't directly say that the stomach injury was from the incident or who did it, but she does say, "I got to walk away with this and a few little scars," which many people deciphered this to mean that it was her attackers who slashed open her stomach. Cuban Doll went live shortly after to say that her stomach was cut open at the hospital due to pre-existing issues Rocky had with her liver due to heavy alcohol consumption, which Rocky denied.
What had happened was, like, you know, after the fight or whatever, She was able to walk and run away and all this stuff. But she had already had a problem because she drink a lot. She drink a lot. She drink Patron every fucking day, y'all. Anybody who know her personally know that she drink. So she was already having like problems, and they just found that out, like that she had like kidney failure or liver failure. She had like kidney or liver failure, so they had to cut her stomach open and go remove some shit. But that's her problem. That's because she drink.
Later, Rocky took to social media and claimed that her stomach was cut open in the hospital because she was having stomach pains and the doctors had to cut open her stomach to see what was wrong.
Did not come from me being stabbed. My stomach was hurting very, very bad. So multiple tests on my stomach and said they couldn't see nothing. There was nothing wrong. I knew something was wrong. So they asked me, what did I want to do? The only other option I had was to get an incision down my stomach or to do nothing, because there's nothing else they could do. So they said, we can make an incision on your stomach and see what's going on, but if there's nothing going on, we just cut your stomach open for nothing. But I knew it was something wrong, so I gave them permission to cut my stomach open. When they cut my stomach open, they seen that all my organs in my stomach was bruised. I had a laceration, which is a cut on my liver, and one of my intestines was tore. And the words that came out of their mouth was, that's how we know men were involved, because there is no way you could have all this damage done. The scar on my stomach and the amount of time that you was in this building, because it was proof of how long I was in the building. I was only fighting for 5 minutes. There is no way possible females could do what the they did to my stomach in that short amount of time. And the amount of time that you was in this building, because it was proof.
Many people have pointed out that organ bruising and lacerations can be determined through x-ray, and no health professional would resort to just cutting someone's stomach open just to see. For that reason, many people believe that Rocky was indeed slashed during the incident, but regardless of how her injuries came about, Rocky claims they were a direct result of the attack. Even though there is no information that directly points to StunnaG having much involvement physically with what happened to Rocky, she is still looked down upon for this incident because in many ways, those who were tuned into this beef believe that she was the one who orchestrated the setup. It is believed by many people that Cuban Dog came to StunnaG telling her about the problems that she had with Rocky, and Stunna came up with the idea, and that the men that were there were called on by StunnaG, being that she is from California. But of course, these are just rumors, and that is alleged. There's no proof of StunnaG being the mastermind, but I will say that StunnaG herself said that one of Cuban Dog's friends didn't like her because every time Cuban hung around Stunna, she would, and I quote, start acting savage. And that's likely true. A month before the cage incident, StunnaG, Cuban Dog, and Cold Killer allegedly tried to jump another rapper by the name of Lil Kayla in Oakland during Rolling Loud. In fact, Stunna says Cuban changing up around her is part of the reason why her and Cuban Dog aren't friends now.
Well, so we was really never even friends like that, but she had this friend that she would talk about it. The friend didn't like me, you know, because he said when the bitch came around me, she started acting all savage and shit, so she ended up getting around the bitch, and the bitch, me and her just ended up arguing. So pretty much it was over her friend.
She also says that Cuban tried to call the police on her in November of 2018.
Calling police, Cuban.
Yeah.
Why you calling
But
police?
you want to say
I got you on camera saying you called the police.
And I will call them again. Come to my house.
You said you'll call them again.
Come to my house. I'm gonna call them every time.
Just a month after the supposed RockyB setup, sources allege that StunnaG went to Cuban Dog's house, or where she was sleeping at the time, and proceeded to get into an altercation with Cuban Dog as she was asleep, as well as snatch her chain. Stunna claims to have tried to auction the chain off, but it wasn't selling for much, so she says she ended up selling the chain to Offset. Now, if you didn't know, way back when, there was a huge cheating scandal between Offset and Cardi B, and Cuban Dog was somewhere in the middle. Now, some of these details were kept private up until late 2022 when StunnaG claims that she caught Cuban in her boyfriend's social media likes trying to get attention and get noticed by him. This is supposed to have led up to her bringing the chain snatching incident again, as well as to whom and how she sold it. As far as Cuban Dog and StunnaG, these two obviously are no longer cool, And per StunnaG, were never really friends to begin with. Now, to me, it seems like it was more so Cuban Doll trying to find new people to link with after she fell out with her old friends. Recently, when asked about StunnaG, Cuban Doll claimed to not even know anybody with that name.
What's your relationship like with StunnaG?
Who?
StunnaG.
With who?
Okay.
I ain't never met nobody with that name.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who are not keen to my channel or reality TV, StunnaG has now been casted on the viral reality show on Zeus Network, Baddies West, a play on the original series Bad Girls Club, orchestrated by a season 4 veteran, Natalie Nunn. StunnaG was casted by way of a filmed audition held by the network for the show, where she got into a physical altercation with judge and reality star Sukiana. Remember, earlier in this video, I stated that StunnaG, Sukiana, and Cuban Doll were all once friends. During this altercation, Stunna claims that Tommy Lee attempted to throw a drink on her while she was already in the midst of fighting Sukiana. Unbeknownst to viewers and some of the cast, Tommy would also go on to be a part of the Baddies West cast with a producer credit. So when StunnaG and Tommy finally reunited at the promo shoot for the show, Stunna took no time to get revenge on Tommy, which is now being played out as a series-long beef between StunnaG and Tommy on and off screen. Now, going back in July 2019, 9 months after the cage incident, Rocky released a diss track to Cuban Doll, Molly Brazy, and StunnaG titled Oppressed, which currently sits at 4 million views. StunnaG never seemed to have directly responded to Rocky, and their immediate beef began to fizzle out. After all, Stunna never had any real issues with Rocky. Despite the virality of this situation, there were never any authorities involved. Yes, StunnaG has stated that she has been to prison before, but her last real run-in with the law was in 2016 when she was caught up in an international money laundering scheme at 18 years old. So why did the authorities never get involved? Well, at the end of the day, these are, or at least claim to be, street girls from the hoods of Detroit, Dallas, and Sacramento. So that could be a reason why police were never involved. So again, there were no reports made, and the only thing we have to go off of is he say, she say, and a picture of Rocky in the cage. All women have continued to make music and go on to do other things, though Cuban Doll was dropped from her label due to her involvement. Molly went on to have a baby, and she rekindled her friendship with Cuban Doll, who is now her child's godmother. But Rocky is still beefing with both Molly Brazy and Cuban Doll to this day. And in 2021, Rocky allegedly pulled up to a home where Cuban and Molly were supposed to be located. After no one came to answer their calls, Rocky posted up outside and made TikToks mocking how scary the other girls were. So at this point, the beef between Rocky, Molly, Cuban goes on, and though this whole story had died down, it unfortunately has been brought back up due to Baddies West. On the show, Natalie claimed that during a meeting she had with StunnaG prior to filming, Stunna is the one who brought up the incident, bragging about putting a girl in a cage. This has randomly now caused some sort of conflict between Rocky, the alleged victim, and Tommy from the cast. However, I think that the explanation for this new beef is better suited for a video on its own. I'll admit I was not going to touch on this topic because I have boundaries as to what I will touch on for this channel, but I've seen so much information being thrown out there that's not necessarily true. Since I do reality TV commentary now, and since I will be doing a video on the new issue between Tommy and Rocky though, I felt that this backstory was very much needed. Again, everything mentioned in the video is alleged, and use your discernment. All information I used came directly from those involved, and any other theories were stated as just that. Theories, thoughts, beliefs, and rumors. Now, after all that low vibration, I gotta go. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
And if you call me a bitch, make sure you put baddest in front of it.
Yeah, she back to the bone.
Buenas noches.